Thank you to Anteism and Metatron for having me today. I'm really excited. This is my first reading in a year, so I'm going to start with a poem called Erosion. Erosion. Then patterns emerged on our skin. If staring long enough at her spine, Rorschach tests make me ill and gay all the way back to the crook of the elbow. River fractals fall, dust originates in skin. Back there and then, a family of ducks pedal feet against Laurentian currents. Make it over far side. You and me could have touched them, but they swam off to the mainland. Us too. We head back to the bigger island and a bus stop. And a bus stop is just another big island, isn't it? Eros plus or minus ion equals misplaced often. Soar in Eros, O in ion. What to do with these quantum mechanics when land loves to leave, land loves to return, shaped otherwise. The next poems I'm going to read are a series of poems I wrote about the underpasses that I live by, which I actually walked through to come here today. And the first one is titled Park Underpass. Rush hour expects the best work behind us. These vehicles miss uprisings for deadlines. My siblings live in the tangerine gloam of underpasses, where metal lifts off itself and tree pulp pastes walls. Gasoline and dust reminisce burial. Yellow dotted lines ask, whose side are you on? While a false center resides in stagnancy. To stop here is to risk violent erasure, forgetting, or insurgency. We are tied so tight to the railway tracks our bones break the chains. We pass under for communion with buried loved ones, astounded again by the impersonality of cars. They're here and then they're not, while we're still on foot, stepping into a different time. Speed of lightness moves too fast to observe a world attempting growth from aestheticized rubble accented with chicken wire. No one has to tell us there's no way to fly here. We know, we become the wind. Clark Underpass. The only time summer 2020 became, I was drunk under, passing under, taking the journey home. Rode bareback, striped in sunlight on my screaming Facebook Marketplace bicycle. The sunlight was actually fluorescence rather than sunlight. And the summer was actually hell rather than all the things I saw down here that lied while context forgot. A can of shaving cream, 3 toothpastes, and 4 razors. The man wearing expensive neon running gear who could not hide his pissing in any corner. Bits of barbed wire. And every time summer 2020 became, midway, a concrete fence swung open to heaven, relief to radiance, whatever is lost to this sonic air underneath, heath to matter, I understand only and all and every construct alibis for the pavement, which rests immaculate. Maybe sometimes rain brings out stalactites, concrete reconstructs against supremacy of archways, condemns the new world, snails make their way across yellow, white lines, sprinting slow so they won't drown in muck, but crushed on that supine pavement, too small and without memory of their meaning, still knowing that they meant. Saint Laurent Underpass. There are 2 sides to everything, and both are rusted through. So what's over there could be here, and over theirs and here's might not be the point at all. Asphalt and exhaust will grind out something more solid someday than this unsolicited advice. If you show up early, no one will know how good you are at falling. They will all praise how grounded you are. The next poem's from a workshop I did with Tess Liam and Marcella, who read earlier. And it's kind of a weird one, but I'm excited to read it. This is my first time reading it in front of anybody. Wharf Rats. My dad told me a story about growing up in St. John. When I was a kid, the wharf rats were as big as cats and they'd steal your dinner. I grew up far away and there were only spiders. Spiders are very polite. They let you go to sleep with a full stomach and only sip your water when you're not looking. The Bay of Fundy has the highest tides. The ocean salts the road at the Caves Chowder restaurant. It's long enough between visits that I can see the difference. Red caves and cliffs are already crumbling. All my friends left this place because it was killing them. Same. Do we call the place that is closest to homeland home, heart, or wound? Or do we wait for something else to emerge from the gape of vocabulary's future? The wharf rats are the only ones who are doing fine in St. John, New Brunswick. Their little hands, so human but not, and their bad teeth won't cost them a job. I will join them when the ocean's safe again. In the future, I will share fish and chips with wharf rats as big as German shepherds curled at my feet. We love each other, and all the pulp, paper, oil tycoons have finally died or left, and the goddamn racist lobster fishermen have finally fucked off. The abortion clinics open back up, and I can visit my grandmother on weekends. My little cousin is getting so big. Finally, I can live in this place where my relatives survived while wild blueberry fields overtake us. Wild blueberry fields overtake borders. So all across the bay, fields and forests and beaches and ocean turn red in late August. Finally, not because they are soaked in blood, but because this land is so sweet in its healing. Kind of as a follow-up to that poem, or I guess also an intro to this next poem, The Star. My family is from Atlantic Canada. We're Black Loyalists, and I've lived here part of my life and also in New Brunswick part of my life. But that story is kind of something that interests me, and that history of like leaving the States to come to Canada with promised land that's not actually good land is something that I've been focused on recently. The Star. In 1783, those who didn't follow the North Star sipped gourds of peaty water, and from ships remembered ocean's cracking of skin, cruelty that even oceans have lakes for respite, wealth of salt depleted above, concentrated below. Deep in the planet's veins, blood breaks down from ancestors. Salt we sprinkle over navy plates, sometimes tinged red. I know I have a future because of Polaris, in the cracks between dreams. Stars are lakes in deep space. Give me new moon return to loving arms and starlight pricking all over with silver tongues. Sometimes I believe in the power of looking up. There's an elegance in falling between states, element of surprise that the yellow and white pills are working to make the supernova burn slower. Futurity without a will for the end. What is that? Some kind of dissociative glory? All right, so I'll be leaving you soon, right after this poem, but thanks everyone who's watching. Thanks again to Metatron and Anteism. After the flood. They will find something unexpected glimpsed through ripples, Down where silt settles, a clear current slashes the Trans-Canada's jugular, and something sparkles from a crack in drowned concrete, reborn riverbed. Here good omens lay, and what they once lost resurfaces. Knees to bank they beckon, past abolition, cupped and wet, between a generosity of palms, open-shelled to a future where each grain of gold harvested from the warmth of these wounds is transubstantial. A table is set, a feast of Johnny cakes warm as suns demonstrates how gold now finds itself a homonym in sustenance, a wealth hymnal in its devotion to life without property. They have sung to this, they sing to it whenever old shining standards reveal themselves washed out, eroded, toast. Toast to plenty, to depths, to darkness, to what sleeps in their open arms, to what wakes when it needs to be fed and is fed.